What is up, DCS Crew? Today we're going to go ahead and talk about a knife that's actually pretty unique for me because I'm not used to carrying knives with a resin handle, okay? Usually if I have something with resin, well, I'll show you what it is that I usually use that is turned custom with a resin handle. But in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and check out the Imperium liner lock with shredded carbon fiber and silver flake in resin from CIVIVI. So this is going to be an interesting knife to go over, and we're going to go ahead and talk about what I like, what I don't like, what it feels in the pocket, and what I think about it, and if I'd go ahead and pick it up. So stay tuned. We're going to get right to it. Roll those credits. Or is it the intro? Yeah, I guess it's the intro. Roll the intro. Welcome back, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the CIVIVI Imperium today. So this one is kind of a deceptive knife. When I picked it up, I'm like, man, this is kind of a big knife. You know, it feels kind of skinny. You know, it's just, I don't know. I just kind of felt like they took a knife design and then they kind of just went whoop, and they kind of stretched a little bit, and then what it ended up doing was it ended up leaning it out while it was all, you know, stretched out. But I like the fact that it's got some really cool elements to it. There are a couple of different versions, but this happens to be the one with the carbon fiber and like kind of shred carbon fiber in there with silver flake, and you can see that on there. And on the other side, it's kind of like Goldschlager, but I guess you can call it Silver Schlager. And it is deployed via, you know, more than just one method. You have the thumb stud, and then you have the front flip method using this little flipper tab here that has some jimping. And that's nice because it allows you to be able to go ahead and just roll it out or kind of flick it out right there. The steel on this is, well, let's talk about the finish on this. It's kind of like a bead blast with a bit of a stone wash. It is not my favorite. If you are a fan of the channel and you've been watching some of my reviews, particularly one I've done on the CIVIVI Elementum and S35, and you know I hate that. Nitro V steel, but okay, let's go ahead and put this to the side so you can go ahead and see the specs that I put over here. To your right, go ahead and hit pause if you want to see that for a little bit longer. And let's get right to showing you what other knives are sized up with this one in comparison. So, another front flipper. This is the Cormorant V2 from Yudong and Kaiser. That is aka Dr. EDC. That's my buddy right there. One I just picked up from White Mountain Knives, and I have a review done on it. This is the Sakshi from We Knife Company, 20 CV, and natural G10 with titanium liners that have actually been painted in black. You have the ProTech Malibu, which I'm pretty sure is something that most people are familiar with, and you know, I'm hoping that that's something that people will realize and say, okay, yeah, I guess I can understand the size on that one. Let's go ahead and see another one that I think that people would know about. This is the Para 3 from Spyderco. As you can see there, more or less what the sizes are. And then I'll go ahead and put one more out. I will be reviewing this in the near future, but I figured I'd just go ahead and show this one off. This is the Assassin from Kaiser's Vanguard line of 154 cm with a red, I want to say a micarta, but it's a different kind of micarta. And I guess I'll talk about it a little bit more in the video review that I do on that one. But it's about the Imperium today. So let's see how it looks like in the pocket. We'll go ahead and see if I can get my little pair of shorts right here. That way I can show you what it looks like. Okay. And slipping into the pocket now. And there we go. As you can see, it does have a black pocket clip, so I can wear this with slacks, that sort of thing. And because of the fact that it is, it's pretty skinny of a knife. It's I guess narrow. It's not too fat, or it doesn't have a flipper tab, a standard flipper tab. It does have the front flipper, but not the standard flipper tab. You know, that pocket pecker really isn't going to go ahead and cause it to take up too much real estate in the pocket. So I actually like that. This is kind of one of those knives that if it came out in G10 or micarta, that sort of thing, it would fit kind of a gentleman's knife, pretty much an all-purpose type of thing, because it is sleek enough to be a nice office EDC for somebody that has larger hands. It's priced actually pretty well. I think this one goes for under 90 in the current configuration, you know, the drop point with this particular finish on the blade of Nitro V steel, and then these scales with the resin, the carbon fiber, and the silver flake. It does fire out with authority. It is on bearings. It does have a deep pocket clip on the right-hand side, and unfortunately, it is not friendly with the the lefties here, unfortunately. Now, looking at the hardware, I'll go ahead and take out my trusted T6 and my T8s right here. Okay, let's see what I think about the hardware. Does it accept T8? Yes, it does. Pivot, also T8. And now okay, it's going to be T6 for the pocket clip. I'll go ahead and see here. Yep, it's T6. All right, well, you're going to have T6 for the pocket clip and that hardware, but for anything else, you're pretty much going to be able to use a T8. So that's actually really good news. Now, talking about the pocket clip, and let me take out my flashlight so you can see what I'm talking about here. The pocket clip has actually been done in a way to where you can see, let me see if I can get as close as I can. They use flat screws, and it is actually sitting flush with, let me see if I get a better, there we go. It actually sits flush with the scale itself. So when you look at it, it's like it's not even there, but it is. There it is. So I like that a lot. That's definitely a plus. And through CIVIVI, which isn't even, you know, knife company, they're, you know, the luxury version, I guess you could say. It's more of the mid-grade value version with them, because as you know, the budget one is now Sencut, and then the mid-grade, I guess you can say, is CIVIVI, and then the upper tier materials and QC, that sort of thing, is basically We Knife Company. So things that I really like about this particular knife. Okay, well, I did write a few things down, but I'm going to try and be as off the cuff from this as possible. I do like the dual deployment that I talked about earlier. Okay, it is the front flipper, and it does have the thumb stud. So, you know, with the thumb stud, the placement is such to where it actually fires out extremely well, or you can just use, you know, your finger to go ahead and deploy it that way. And then you can use your thumb for the front flipper, or you can just kind of let it out slowly, and it's good to go. Okay, so I do like that. And I do like the fact that it has a bit of a unique look to it. Even though this is resin, and usually that would be pretty smooth, it does have little cutouts into it. Okay, and I thought that that was actually pretty awesome. Let me just go ahead and cut for a second, because I'm going to show you something else that I use with resin. Okay, back to it. So one of the other things that I happen to use that actually utilizes resin a lot, and I don't get a lot of chances to be able to show it on my knife videos, are my shave products, and in particular are my shave brushes. Now, these are actually hand turned, and then the knots are placed afterwards. Sometimes I do them myself, and I have a video on how I go ahead and place the knots in here and set them. But these are actually two that have been done recently. This one right here, you can see it's a polished black with a kind of pearl resin, and then it has like gold dust in the inside. You'd see it a little bit better. It's unfortunate because, I mean, this light is not doing this brush justice. It's a really, really nice brush that I happen to use a lot when I shave. And then one of the first custom brushes that I got, that's also a custom, and I just want to go ahead and show that this was from Wild West Brushworks. Really, really cool cats over there at Wild West. And then this one is over from Grizzly Bay Brushworks. Now, they are both, they hand turn these brushes, they finish them. And this one in particular is, it has that matte gray with that black collar up here. And then if you look here, it's a clear resin with gold flake. So this actually has silver flake, and this one has gold flake. And I figured I'd go ahead and show those two by American guys. Those are actually made here in America. They're actually really cheap. So considering, you know, the fact that they are one of a kind when they're turned. But back to the knife itself. As far as the dimensions, I may have already shown this, but I'll just go ahead and show the specs one more time. This is actually a larger knife than what I would normally see as a gent's knife, but it does fit in that kind of gent's perspective because of the fact that it is a bit narrow feeling. It's not as, you know, thick in the handle. It's actually a pretty slicey blade. And I mean, being that it has that Nitro V steel, you know, and that kind of stonewash. It has that look that it's kind of alluring. It's not too flashy with, you know, everything once it's in the pocket, but when you take it out and use it, it does have a little bit that flake to give it that little pop. So I do like that a lot. And as far as, you know, the materials itself, for being under $90, that's definitely a pro. I will give it that. It does have very good materials. I mean, it does have that unique look, and you do have the dual deployment method, so I got to give it, you know, that. It is under 3 ounces, so you do have to give it a good nod for being the size it is. It's what, 7.8 inches. It's just under 8 inches, you know, and it's still under 3 inches, excuse me, 3 ounces in weight. So that's actually pretty cool. Now, the skeletonized liners, I do want to talk about that because it does have steel liners and they are skeletonized on the show side. Let me see if I can go ahead and find where the hell's my flashlight when I need it? Here we go. All right, and let me go ahead and see if I can shine it inside. That way you can see what it looks like in there. And I'm sorry for the dust. I actually carry my knives so that I can go ahead and gather my opinions before I go on camera. If you happen to see the inside of knives and show that they're not dusty and the guy's reviewing them, chances are either he cleaned it before he went ahead and reviewed it, or he didn't really carry it, just between us. So I want to go ahead and mention that. So yeah, I do like the fact that because of these things, it can fill the role as the gents knife, you know, for people with extra medium or larger hands. So that's actually really cool. Now, as far as cons, I feel like this right here, you know, it's like a semi sharpening choil / finger choil, it's not really doing well either, because this could have gone a little bit farther back if it was in fact just a sharpening choil, and it could have gone a little bit more forward if it was a finger choil. I mean, you can probably use it, but for the size of hands that you'd be using this with, you know, like it doesn't feel as natural as I thought it would be. You know, it is what it is. Now, you don't have any lefty love on this, guys. I'm really, really sorry. It's only for, you know, righties or people that just want to go ahead and carry, you know, righty even though they're lefty. I mean, it is what it is. You know, imitation is the highest form of flattery. As a righty, I do appreciate when lefties do that. So, you know, I will say it like that. I don't like the fact that, you know, the actual finish on the blade is considered a stonewash. It's more of a bead blast with a very, very light stonewash, if that. I mean, I can't really see the stonewash, but hey, that's just me. And one other thing that I want to say, and this is actually from my experience in dealing with these kind of brushes, when you have resin, okay, it's not like G10 or micarta that when you drop it, it could dent, it could mar, that sort of thing. Resin can crack and it can break, okay? And getting replacement scales for these knives, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they don't make aftermarket scales for these knives, and it's not the easiest to be able to go ahead and reach out to, you know, CIVIVI and say, hey, I broke the scales on one of your knives, can you go ahead and replace it? I have never ever had to deal with that, but I'm assuming they don't have all of these spare parts, especially, you know, knife scales readily available for knives like these. So that's really my thing. Now, as far as a final verdict for this knife, okay, it is a good gent and obviously carry for larger hands, but I would probably reach for other knives before this one. That's not to say that it's a bad knife, but it wouldn't be, you know, top tier on my list. Something that I've actually been using a lot lately, also with Nitro V and from CIVIVI, is the Nox. I kind of knocked it initially when I reviewed it, because I didn't really have enough time in the office with slacks with it. Now that I am back in the office full time, you know, because COVID all of a sudden isn't a thing anymore, yeah, I'm actually digging this one quite a bit. And I would find myself reaching for something like this, which is a little bit skinnier, it's a little bit smaller. The deployment is, you know, it's just something that I would reach for a little bit more personally. Because of that, you know, it's a nice carry, but I personally would probably not carry it as often, or, you know, whatever, I guess. In the verdict, okay, is it a buy? Would you try it for it, or pass? You know, just kind of like pass over it. For me, I wouldn't see myself buying this, and I wouldn't see myself just passing over it. If I saw it and it kind of got my attention like this one, I'd probably trade for it, and I'd probably be happy for it, you know, for the trade, but that's just me. So your mileage may vary, so can your opinion. That being said, that's mine. And if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and hit me up on Instagram at Daily Carry Solutions. Thanks for tuning in and checking out this knife review. And go ahead and sign off in the comments. If you have one of these, let me know what you think. Do you like it? Do you not? What do you think? So just let me know what's up. And I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. And remember, whether you choose to get something that is from CIVIVI, it could be from Kaiser, hell, it could even be from Spyderco. Just remember, if you EDC, to think of DCS. I'll see you guys next time, hopefully, if you are a subscriber. And if not, hey, hopefully that analytics causes you to watch one more time, right? In the meantime, here are some other videos and possibly a playlist that you might be interested in. And again, I'm here to help, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Peace.